Good evening, everyone. Sorry, running a bit late. So's Paula, who's meant to be here as well. So I'm not going to do the other intro because, again, we're already running a bit late. And I don't want us to miss as much information from John as possible. Let me quickly say hello to people in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Go to the top here. And hi, Becca. You're listening and working. Thanks for joining us. Kitty, Mascara, Cookie, and Pete, who's got a night off tonight, and Frank, and who else is here? Let's have a look. Roberto, Manda's here as well, and let's have a look. And Sparky's here as well. Hello, Sparky, mate. And of course, all the lurkers and replayers, thank you for joining us or watching the replays anyway. Rich T's here as well. And I think we're nearly there. Yes, we're there. Right. Good. Okay. Right. Well, so in for a treat tonight. I went to see this man. As you well know, I found a new, and Mahatma Levelance has just joined us. I went to my local group called Bedford Matters, and they had John on there, and he did a great presentation, and he's kindly agreed to join me tonight to talk about his life and also about his books and all sorts of things. The man is a wealth of information. Before we get going, let me just give you, and Jimmy Hagan's here as well. Hello, Jim. Let me just talk to you about John. This is from his website. He's been a full-time geopolitical researcher and author since 2001, ever since the events of 9/11, which really awakened him to the realities of what was happening in the world at large. The Falsification of History, which is the book that I've got here. There we are. Here we are. It's signed, which means it's worth less money now. His first, which was his first book in early 2012, following several years of intense research. And this was followed by the 2013 by my two sister works on the Titanic Disaster of 1912, the non-fiction RMS Olympic and its companion, the novel Titanic's Last Secret. In early 2016, after more than 2 years of writing, he completed his largest work, Behind the Curtain, expose of the fraudulent bank and world monetary systems and highly detailed dissemination of all the crimes against humanity. 2019, he published results of his year-long investigation into JFK assassination, a very British coup, which details the involvement of British Crown in the affair. His latest work, it's not his latest work, he needs to update this because we'll talk about that in a minute, is a companion book to The Falsification of History, The Falsification of Science, which demonstrates how it is not only past events that have been faked and distorted, but also the discipline of science has been similarly fraudulently manipulated to benefit the elite, a few atop of the pyramids of society. Unlike the subject of this book's predecessor, the sister volume, The Falsification of History, Science is usually systematically falsified for two quite distinct reasons. Firstly, as with history, it may be falsified for political expediency, that is for the purpose of maintaining and propounding a false paradigm which supports the ongoing political agenda. But secondly, and most commonly, science is often falsified for financial gain, usually directly benefiting the ruling elite corporatocracy in some way. And there we go. So that's all about John. And let's welcome John into, let me add him to the stage here. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Hamer. John, do people get your name wrong often?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. It's about, to be fair, it's about 50-50. Sometimes it's Hammer, sometimes it's Hamer. I get one or two minor variations on that.
Where's your surname from?
Right, I used to actually do genealogy many years ago, and I did actually trace my ancestry, and it actually goes back to Belgium. It's a very common name in this French-speaking part of Belgium, actually, and it's pronounced Hamer over there, as you might expect.
John, we've already got something in common. My surname is French.
Really?
It's Brallant, which is pronounced Bralon.
Bralon.
Oui. Bralon. So we've already got something in common. Are you happy to take questions from the chat? And what I'll try and do is I'll try and, if you've got a question, can you just try and put question first so I can try and see it, because I've got no help here tonight. because I've given Pete the night off. Normally, I've my producer mate Pete. He's normally here, but I've given him the night off because Paula was meant to be in as well, chatting to you. But it's not a problem. First of all,
Right.
Tell us a bit about yourself. Where do you live? You're northerner, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a northern. Yeah, I live in Scarborough on the northeast coast, northeast Yorkshire.
Yeah.
I've only been there about 5 years. I met a
really?
Yeah, I met a very lovely lady who lived there, and so it just seemed to be kind of the right thing to do to make my home here as well. And we've got married since then, and but yeah, I'm originally from a place called Holmfirth in West Yorkshire, which is, for those who are not aware, it's the last of the summer wine village.
Yeah.
That's where I was born and raised, but I've been all over the country, various different places with my job. And yeah, I used to work in IT until I started doing this. And by the way, you were right, the SML website is completely out of date on the actual bio bit. Yeah, I mean, since the falsification of science, which I think is the last one that's mentioned in that blurb.
Yeah,
I think I've probably written about another 5 since then. So, and I don't know how, but it actually says that it was 9/11 that woke me up, and that's not true either. I don't know where that came from.
You wrote it.
Well, I wrote it, but I passed it on to my webman, and I don't know whether he's kind of condensed it and got it muddled up or something. It was actually the death of Diana that woke me up in '97.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll come to that in a minute. I'm always fascinated by people and authors, and you cover so many different subjects, which is unusual. Yeah. Normally, authors are fundamentally about key subjects and stuff like that. Yeah. But you've obviously covered in this book. I mean, I'm going to go through some of the stuff in it, what the subject matters in it. I couldn't believe how much is in it, and there is like over 700 pages in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's taking me a little while to get through it.
Yeah, I kind of describe myself as like a jack of all trades and master of none. In the truther sense. I do cover a lot of topics, not that many in depth though. It's mainly a broad general approach to the truth paradigm, if you like.
I know you just said, for example, that it was the Princess Diana thing that sort of clicked. But what about when you were in school? I mean, I wasn't very good in school personally. I don't know why. I just didn't like school. But the odd thing was that my 2 worst subjects were maths and music, and they were literally my 2 first jobs because I was a croupier. And I also worked in a music shop. So to me, that demonstrated that there was something fundamentally wrong within the education system. Because I mean, I left school with nothing, apart from my common sense, I would say, really. So what about you? What was school like for you? Did you question? Was it? What did you think of school and stuff?
I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Every single minute I was there. And
there we go.
I wasn't exactly a really bad boy, but I was very I was troublesome in a way because I used to ask questions all the time, and they couldn't stand that at all. They cannot stand people asking pertinent questions. Yeah. You're supposed to just sit there, absorb it all, and then at some future date regurgitate it when it becomes appropriate. Well, I'm not like that. I never have been. I've always been a bit of a rebel, and I've always been, someone who goes against authority, not because I'm deliberately being awkward, but because I just feel that authority is there to be challenged. It's just my way of being, and I've always been like that. So yeah, I used to get into trouble, not in a massive way, but I was a cheeky little sod, basically.
Would you consider yourself, because some people don't like this word, but would you consider yourself a bit of an anarchist?
I'm definitely an anarchist. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But people misunderstand what the word anarchy means, Robert. Anarchy just means no formal government. That's all it means. It doesn't mean that that they present the word anarchy as though you're some kind of a criminal. You're there to like destroy society. Well, That's not right. That's not anarchy. Anarchy is something different. And anybody who, you know, out there listening now who questions that, you know, just actually do some research on that, because it is a very interesting concept, is anarchy.
Yeah, and again,
I call myself on Amazon, I call myself gentle anarchist.
Right.
So yeah.
And again, it's one of those words that they want to, you know, put a label on, don't they? Like,
Yeah.
Tell us,
So
John, what's the history behind conspiracy theorist?
Right, the term conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist began in 1963 after a certain event, the death of Kennedy, and the CIA decided it would be a great idea to label anyone who questioned the Warren Report, which was the fairy tale about, you know, what they decided had happened to Kennedy. So anybody who questioned that was labeled a conspiracy theorist. And now it's become a very powerful weapon. They use it in all circumstances. And it has those connotations that make people who are not aware of what's going on think, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Oh, he's just a conspiracy theorist. You know, so it's a very powerful weapon, a very effective one as well.
It's been brilliant, hasn't it? Especially in the COVID years, where people were questioning what was going on. It was a word that was thrown around so easily, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it kind of, the connotation is that anybody who doesn't believe what the government tells you is some kind of an idiot. You know, that's the underlying connotation within that phrase now, because it's been engendered to be that way. So a simple way to shut anybody down who is questioning things and say, oh, it's just a conspiracy theorist, or she's just a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Very effective, very clever.
Going back to your school years, did you qualify in anything? What was your main job, John?
Yeah, well, I did O levels then, not GCSEs. So I think I got 10 O levels and 3 A levels, and I actually went to teachers training college, as they were called then. I don't think they have them now. I think it's just, you just go to university now, don't you, to become a teacher. But yeah, I went to teachers training college at Ripon in North Yorkshire. I was there for 2 terms. And I hated it, because to me, it was just an extension of my school days. And so that didn't last very long. And then I didn't know what the heck to do with myself, but I just applied for a few different jobs. I mean, I was 19. And I went for an aptitude test for a job as a mainframe computer operator. And this is going back to 1970 now, so I've shown my age a little bit. But in those days, you know, computers weren't desktops like we're sat at now. They were huge things sat in massive rooms with air conditioning and all the rest of it, and hail on gas in case of fire. But yeah, sorry, I'm digressing.
No, carry on. Carry on. It's good. It's interesting stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So I actually got that job, much to my surprise. And to be honest, I had no idea what a computer was, really. I mean, it was just a word that, you know, that people bandied around, and it was something out of a science fiction film, as far as I was concerned. So
what business was it? What business was it?
It was called Reed International. They're a cardboard manufacturer in Bradford, in Yorkshire.
Right.
And I got a job, and I just kind of progressed through the IT ranks. I was a mainframe computer operator for a few years. Then I became supervisor, manager, and then I moved into systems analysis. Then I became an IT consultant. And when I finally retired in 2001, you know, I'd been also director of my own company, my own software company before then as well. But yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I just kind of drifted into it. That's just that's just my character. I'm a bit of a butterfly, really.
Were you always good at writing at school then?
Yeah, always. That was my main topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also, after I left school and while I was working, I did a 4-year night school course for psychology, and I got a degree in psychology.
Right. I remember you saying that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to university. It was just at a college.
When did you do that? The psychology?
At Bolton in Lancashire. Bolton College.
What year were you doing that? Was that recent?
No, gosh, no. It was in the 70s, so it's 50 years ago.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And what drew you to psychology then? You just
Again,
fascinated?
nothing. I thought, oh, psychology, that sounds all right. I'll have a go at that. Honestly, I've just been,
You're just gliding along.
Yeah, I just so laid back. I'm falling over. It's just.
Yeah, you do come across that way. Actually, you did at the presentation. You are very laid back, but I like.
But I was always good at English. And I began writing in about late 90s, in the infancy of the internet. I began writing articles, truth articles, sent them to various websites.
Yeah,
lucky enough to have them published, and they asked me for more, which was great. So I carried on doing that, and I did that for a few years. And then a few people along that path said to me, you're a really good writer, John. You should write books. And I go, no, I don't know where to begin. And I didn't. And I started writing Falsification history in about 2009. Right. And I only played at it, and it took me about 3 years to complete it. I never thought I would complete it, actually. But I did, and kind of not looked back since. And since I became a writer, of course, my services have been in demand for podcasts and also for stand-up talks, which, as you know, I do those as well. So,
yeah, because I first discovered you with Chris and Dom on Sheep Farm.
Right. Yeah. The great ones, Chris and Dom.
Yeah. You and you've done you've been to a few of their live shows, haven't you?
Yeah. I've just done 2 this year. There's another one coming up in
That's right.
London in October.
You're doing that one as well.
Yeah. I'm doing a stand-up presentation there. I can't remember which one I'm doing now, but yeah, I'm doing a presentation there. It's at the Backyard Comedy Club, something like that?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
in Bethnal Green.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So let me just go over some of these subjects that you cover in your book here. Okay. Just a few of them, like for example, you've got the real origins of the human race, the ancient bloodlines, the discovery of the American continent, the Knights Templar, Freemasonry, Bilderberg Group, money, the Great Confidence Trick, the Gunpowder Plot, the founding of America, the French Revolution, Jack the Ripper, and it carries on. And then you've got the Russian Revolution, Spanish flu. I want to talk to you about that.
Right.
The Israel, the land of the Rothschilds, the Apollo moon landings. Let's stop there. That's your latest book, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about your latest book then.
Yeah, I wrote that with a co-author, Alistair Neil. We've become good friends since then. He lives in Spain. Yeah. And the book's called One Giant Lie to Mankind, and it just covers every aspect of the Apollo missions and the moon landings and all the stuff surrounding it. The origins of NASA, the real origins of NASA I'm talking about, not what they tell us, completely different, right up to more or less the present day and the latest Artemis nonsense that went on in April Fool's Day.
My birthday.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Somebody's got to be born that day, John.
Absolutely, yeah.
Somebody's
in fact, about 1/365th of the world's population, I would guess.
Yes, I'd say that's about right. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. Let me, because I sort of said that I'd like to ask you a few questions as well. Sure. Let me, where were we? I mean, you probably answered some of them already, actually. So when did you first question history, John? When did you first start questioning history?
Well, it was the Princess Diana thing that kind of set me on that road. I mean, I'd always been interested in history and English. Well, were kind of my 2 topics.
Just as a quick one, were you a royalist, anti-royalist? No. Didn't give a damn.
Totally anti-royalist. I mean,
right,
I just thought, like I said, I've always been a rebel. And, that was one of the things that I quietly, in my own little way, rebelled against. I didn't actually do anything overt, but I just quietly seethed about them.
Did you ever have a political leaning?
Never voted in my life.
Really?
No.
Wow.
That's rare. I just thought they're all tarred with the same brush. It doesn't matter who you vote for. The government always gets in. and you know,
Yeah,
and you know, I encourage people not to vote because it only encourages them.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, sticking with that, do you think that there's a solution to anything that we've got now? I mean, I favour decentralized platforms. Anything that's
Absolutely.
decentralized, I think, is the way forward.
Yeah,
And I know
yeah.
people don't like crypto and stuff like that, but maybe smart contracts could be good with that sort of thing. What do you think of that sort of idea? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I'm in favour of decentralisation right across the board.
Yeah.
You know, politically as well as financially and all the rest of it. So yeah, I mean, any political party that has the ability to get elected, you know, such as Reform. Yes, I'm looking at you, Reform. They are not to be trusted either. I'm sad to say. You know, they say some very strange things, as well as some what seem on the surface of it quite sensible things. But at the end of the day, if they get elected, they will follow more or less exactly the same agenda as the Labour or the Conservative or the Liberal Democrats.
They all serve the king.
Yeah, exactly that.
They all make a vow to the king, don't they?
They all serve the king and the WEF.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me have a look. What else was there? So yeah, what was the key thing that made you want to write the book, to become an author?
Well, as I said, lots of people were saying to me, you should write a book. And I kept thinking, no, I can't be bothered. You know, just plod through life like I always did. And eventually I thought, I've got a great idea. All these articles that I've been writing for websites, if I stitch them all together, and then I had no idea how to write a book. I mean, I honestly hadn't. I mean, my English is very, very good, even though I say it myself. I mean, I get complimented on it all the time, but I had no idea how to write a book, how to construct a book, how to get one published or anything. So I was just basically, you know, doing it blind. It's like the blind leading the blind, or, you know.
Yeah.
So that's all I did. I stitched all these articles together to make some kind of a chronological sense out of them. And then I added a few bits in as well, new bits. But it took me an awful long time because, as I said, I really didn't know what I was doing at all. And I had nobody to ask. I didn't know any other authors or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I published it, and it was a raging success, you know, from day one, fortunately, which has been very gratifying. And that kind of encouraged me to continue writing, because if it had been a bit of a flop, I'd have thought, oh, you know, I can't be bothered with that. But yeah, it sold very well all through its existence. It was published in 2012, so it's been around for 14 years now, and it's still probably maybe not the bestseller now, but I think Falsification of Science holds that accolade. But yeah, it's certainly up there. It's either second or third at the moment.
I'm really enjoying the book. I think it's excellent, and I think that, you know, it's an easy read as well, John. I'm not the greatest reader, but I think the way that you've written it is just so easy to understand as well. And it's in depth, and it's full of really good information. But again, it's not overwhelming. Sometimes books can be a bit overwhelming, I find.
Yeah, well, the thing about Falsification of History, you know, the people have said to me about it, is that it's not, you don't have to read it from cover to cover over a period of time.
No, exactly.
You can just pick bits out of it that you're interested in, you know, because it's kind of got a thread running right through it, but there are a lot of standalone chapters in there, and most of them are standalone chapters that you can just dip in and out of, really. So yeah.
What else? Like, let's have I've got something else. So talk about all the different books that you've written then. So you've talked about Falsification of History, Falsification of Science.
Yeah. Right. Shall I do it chronologically?
Yeah, go ahead.
Falsification of History is the first. We've talked about that. It's just basically, the theme is, as the title suggests, it's about how history has been systematically falsified. Yeah. Following that, I did a stand-up presentation on the Titanic, because one thing that I am pretty expert at is the Titanic disaster. Okay, and I did a stand-up presentation in Lytham St Anne's on the northwest coast,
That's a group of people, isn't it? That I forget what they're called. They've been going for quite a few years.
Oh yeah, been going a long time. Yeah,
they live in some Anne's lot.
Yeah, New Horizons.
New Horizons, that's the one. Yeah.
I've become very friendly with the guy who organises it, Rob, and his missus Chrissy. They've been over to not to stay with us, but to be in Scarborough, and we've had a few days with them. It's been great.
Yeah.
So I did a silent presentation on the Titanic, the real truth about Titanic, not the sanitized nonsense that we get. The Leonardo DiCaprio, James, what's his name, who directed it, James Cameron. Not that story. I mean, that's just for the saps for the masses, sops for the masses. The real story about what really happened, and it's quite a fascinating story. So I wrote a book called RMS Olympic as a result of, because that stand-up presentation went viral within months. It's at something like 500,000 views on YouTube, and somebody picked it up in America. A lady who was a film director, not a very famous one, but a minor film director, and she said she'd love to make the film of it, but obviously they need funds. Would I come over, spend some time with her, and go around the various producers that she knew around Hollywood, and see if we could get anybody interested? So I went over there. I had a very nice 2 weeks over there. Thank you very much. And went around Hollywood, meeting all these film producers and whatnot. And but nobody was interested, as you probably gather, except for one guy. And this one guy said, he said, it's very interesting that. He said, he says it sounds like a cracking story. He said, but it's got to be a book. He says, it's got to be a book first, and then we can use the book as the basis for the film. So I came back. When I came back, I started burning the midnight oil, and I wrote RMS Olympic, the real Titanic story. I wrote that in something like 6 weeks, burning the midnight oil, as I say. And I got the transcript over to him, and he got back to me almost straight away. He says, no, what's this? He says, it's got to be a novel. I'd written a factual non-fiction book. I said, oh, right, I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. So I set to work again, and I wrote the novel based on RMS Olympic, which is called Titanic's Last Secret. Right. So it took me a bit longer because I'd never written a novel before. And it's a completely different skill set to writing a non-fiction book. So anyway, eventually got the transcript to it, but by that time he'd got moved on to other things. He said, "I'm really sorry, but I've got so many other projects on the go now, Right. So that was that. But anyway, I got 2 books out of it, and then my next book was Behind the Curtain, which is a massive tome. It's got 2 volumes each about that thick. Right. Which I cut down from 1.5 million words to about 700,000 words, which took some doing, but I did it. Is
it more pages than that?
Yeah, both volumes are more pages than that. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, and it's actually a physically bigger book as well.
Before you go on. Yeah. I saw this today, and I thought, I've got to show this to John, right? Right. Because I don't know if you've seen this, but it's from. Well, just watch this and see what you think of this. Watch.
Go on.
Threats of legal things, even these days, about whether the ship that was so close to us was the Californian or not. I mean, I saw that ship. It's terribly close. And the other thing I'm saying is that I didn't see a ship 19 miles away. I saw a ship that was so close. And they said at the time it was less than 9 miles away. Now they're trying to say it was 19. I saw it, it wasn't just lights on the horizon. You could see it was a ship. And I saw our rockets being fired, which that ship must have seen. Well, this inquiry says that they did see it, but they didn't think it was a portent of danger. But I would have thought in the middle of the Atlantic, in the middle of the night, that rockets must mean trouble. I entirely agree with my dear Dr. Ballard's words. He said the whole thing was a tribute to man's arrogance. And I agree with that. That man can be so arrogant as to build something and claim that it is undestroyable, if you like. It's the most arrogant thing to say. And as I say, all these years later, this interest is profound. And it's because there was no need for anyone to die. No one should have died. Had she had enough lifeboats with 2.5 hours and a very smooth sea, nobody would have died. And one life is worth more than the whole ship, surely. That is what I saw, that is what I remember. And hardly any of us now to share this memory, of course. I'm the only living survivor now that can remember it and get about, so to speak. I don't think there's anyone that can really tell the whole story of it, except myself.
Yeah, Eva, yeah, lovely lady. Never met her, of course, but she died quite a long time ago now. But yeah, I mean, she's misguided there because she's only going on the basis of what she was told was the official story. First of all, the ship that she saw wasn't the Californian at all. It was a Norwegian whaling ship, which never came to Titanic's rescue and never even admitted to it being there for at least 20 years after the event, because it was breaking the law. It was actually taking seals baby seals from ice floes and clubbing them to death and killing them for the fur. So the captain was never going to come forward. So it was actually, I can't remember what the name of the ship was now. Anyway, yeah, my brain. But yeah, the ship was this Norwegian sealing boat, if you like, and that's what she saw, and that's what lots of the other passengers on Titanic saw. And also she said about Robert Ballard being right. It was built on arrogance. Again, not true, because it was deliberately sunk. And again, I go into all the details of it in the book for those who are not aware of the story. It is a very sickening, terrible story. And yeah, I don't really want to go into details about it. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but basically it was an insurance fraud that went wrong. That was one of the elements to it. And the other element to it was the fact that in 1912, the American top American financiers, J.P. Morgan, who actually owned the Titanic, he owned the shipping line that the Titanic belonged to, the White Star Line. J.P. Morgan was also one of the Federal Reserve conspirators. He was trying to get the Federal Reserve established in the States. But the problem that they had was that there were opponents to the Federal Reserve who were gaining a lot of traction, and they were winning the battle.
Yeah.
So Morgan had to get rid of them. So he enticed them onto Titanic and basically killed them. So 3 out of the 4, there was Isidore Straus, who owned Macy's department store and who was involved in banking as well. Benjamin Guggenheim, who was a railroad entrepreneur. John Jacob Astor, who was a hotel and leisure man. Waldorf Astoria was named after him. And Charles Lindbergh Sr., the father of the famous aviator. Now, they were absolutely dead against the Federal Reserve. Why? Not for any kind of altruism towards the people of America, but just for the fact that they knew what it would do to their own fortunes. They were 4 of the richest guys in the country, if not the world. And they knew that, the central bank system would destroy their fortunes, not through any kind of negligence or greed, but simply through inflation, because inflation is an inbuilt element of any central financial system. It's the same here. It's the same everywhere in the Western world and most other places too.
In your book, you talk about how much debt America was in, and this was published in 2012. And I think you wrote, I think it was 12 trillion or 15 trillion, something like that. And we've just hit 40 trillion.
I know, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And funnily enough, just on a completely unrelated note, I was watching something on telly. I'm very picky and choosy about telly, by the way. I don't watch it from morning till night or anything. I use it for my research. I watch documentaries and stuff. And it was saying about this house that costs a certain amount of money, and it was in 2007. This program, and it cost, I don't know, whatever it was, £250,000.
Yeah.
And so I looked up what the equivalent of £250,000 in 2007, so 19 years ago, is today, and it was just short of half a million. So the cost of living has doubled, and this is exactly because of the central bank system, the way that it works. It takes in interest alone, the Bank of England, as much as comprised the entire financial system 14 years previously. So every 14 years, and that's shrinking, it doubles. So that just fits perfectly, you know.
Trump has just added to it, hasn't he? Since his, I think it's doubled, isn't it, since he's begun, or something stupid like that.
I honestly don't know, Robert, because I'm not. I do follow current affairs, but not avidly. I look at things more from a historical perspective rather than. I tend to look at them, you know, after the event rather than while it's going on. Because the only reason being that I don't know what to believe what I read or what I hear or what I see. I just don't know what to believe. I think things get put into perspective a lot more clearly given the passage of time. So that's something I kind of learned over the years, you know, not to take too much store by what we're told is happening at the moment. I'd rather look at it in retrospect, if that makes sense.
Well, all media is owned by 5 corporations or something like that anyway.
Exactly that, yeah.
And right now we've got this whole conspiratainment thing going on, haven't we? I mean, you know, there's a lot of of channels that are out there that you know that say that they've got the truth and stuff like that. But again, is it just for clicks and likes and things like that?
Sorry, I was just going to say part of the problem with the truth movement is that you don't know who's on whose side. There's so much infiltration and so much disinformation flying around, all from the usual suspects, of course. You know, they infiltrate every single anybody that looks as though they're gaining, you know, popularity or gaining influence. They'll immediately latch onto them and either destroy them or encourage them to carry on, but tell lies, and that's just so rife in the truth movement. So it's I really, you know, I'm not saying I'm an expert at discerning the real truth, but I think over a period of time you do get to kind of look for the warning signs, you know. And but I really feel sorry for anybody who's just coming into this movement. They won't have a clue what to believe. When I first started, you know, doing what I do, I didn't know anybody else who felt the same way as me. I felt like I was a lone voice in the wilderness for about 3 or 4 years, and then it started to build up. But I've just noticed a massive increase in people waking up to the realities. Since the beginning of COVID, really, I think that was a massive trigger. That was a massive trigger.
How did you cope in COVID, John?
Fine. I knew right from seeing those hilarious videos in December and January of those people falling down dead in the street in China or wherever it was. And I knew right away that I didn't know what it was going to turn into, but I remember laughing at them and thinking, my goodness, do they really expect us to believe that's real? You know, so yeah, I mean, it was painful in many ways, wasn't it? But I never got depressed.
It's destroyed kids, didn't it? It destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a psychology background, you know, and you must know how much it's destroyed kids. It really did. I mean, I knew when they started it, because I was coming to the end of my tenure with the NHS. I knew they were going to come out with a vaccine. I could. It was just like, oh, look at that over the hill. There's a vaccine coming. Their miracle cure. And that leads me on to John, Spanish flu. Talk to me about Spanish flu.
Spanish flu. By Spanish flu, I presume you mean the so-called pandemic of 1918-19.
Yeah. First of all, do you think that why did they not start talking about it until about the 90s? You know, I mean, there wasn't much. I'd never heard of it when I was in school.
Yeah, I mean, I had, but I've always been an avid reader, so
Right, okay.
Yeah, I had heard of it, but I just assumed that what they told us was the truth, and until I became aware of what was really going on. Yeah, what happened? End of the war, all the American servicemen and all the servicemen from all the European nations had all been congregated in Europe, and I believe it was actually connected to 1G, which was the electricity that was prevalent at the time.
Yeah, I've heard that theory as well, actually.
Yeah, it's actually more complicated than that, and I'll come on to it. But I'll come on to it, but I'll try and keep it simple, if you know what I mean.
It involves aspirin.
It involves aspirin, yeah. So yeah, so that at that point in time, telecommunications were just starting to become prevalent. They say that necessity is the mother of invention. Well, when there was a war going on, they needed rapid communications. So telecoms they already had wireless and telegraphy. But it became more prevalent, and so soldiers in particular were more subjected to it.
Yeah.
Now, what people don't realize, I mean, we're living with 5G now and probably 6G in not very, and every time there is an increase in that density of electromagnetic frequency soup that we all live in, we suffer. Okay? Not everybody. Some people are more resilient. Some people are more resistant to it than others.
Yeah, some people.
But I remember when 5G started. I was ill for 4 weeks when 5G went live in Scarborough. I was absolutely ill. Right. I was in bed for 2. I couldn't get out. But it was the same for people back then when 1G came out, which was not even remotely as strong as it is. Unfortunately, our bodies get used to it as time goes on. And as the frequency increases, the amount of soup that is in the air, it's electric soup that's in the air, our bodies do become used to it. But that's not a good thing. It's a bad thing, but it's our bodies protecting ourselves.
Yes.
So, yeah. So just to go, I'll actually go back a little bit before First World War to the kind of towards the back end of the 19th century.
Yeah.
I got a little article, pulled that from somewhere, I can't remember where from, and it explained, and I absolutely believe it to be true, that Charles Dickens was going, paying a visit to a mental hospital in London. It's something like in the 1860s. And they took him to this particular ward where these poor guys, and I don't think ladies, because I don't think they worked in that industry. And these poor guys were obviously completely, mentally deficient. Okay.
Yeah.
And he said, what's wrong with all these people? Because they seem particularly severe. And he said, they're all telegraph operators, or were telegraph operators.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how, that's just to illustrate how it started. But by the time it came around to 1918, everybody congregated in Europe, went back to America, came back to the UK, to all the different countries. They'd been subjected to this 1G that was going on, and they fell ill when they got home. They fell ill. So what happened was they go to the doctors. Obviously, the doctors had come to see them.
Here we go.
But at the same time, exactly the same time, Bayer AG, the German pharmaceutical company, just developed this wonder drug, this wonder painkiller called aspirin. But the problem was not even Bayer, because it had not been properly tested, knew the correct dosages. And so neither did the medical profession either. So they got these stuff and they're going, oh, I wonder how much to prescribe of that. Oh, I don't know. Couple of boxes, there you go. They were giving this stuff out like sweets. And people were taking these aspirins in massive numbers, and they were collapsing and dying within hours. 3
times the amount as what would be recommended at times, wasn't it? If not,
I think it was more than that, actually.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. So the pharmaceutical industry obviously found out exactly what was going on, put a stop to it. But they thought, well, we can't have this. We can't be getting the blame for this. We've got to label this disease, this terrible new disease called Spanish flu, And you know, that kind of exonerates us. So thank you very much. Happy days. Ka-ching.
Yep. And that
which
was
is
it.
the modus operandi of pharmaceutical companies to this day.
I like the word you use, actually, John. Medical fascism.
Well, it was, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was.
But actually, using again, that's another word. You know, we mentioned anarchy. Fascism is another. I mean, at that point when I wrote that book, I wasn't aware of that, but you know, I've done a lot of research on different political systems, and fascism being one of them.
Yeah.
And when you hear the real truth about fascism, it's completely different to what we believe it to be. You know, that word just gets bandied about so often. Oh, you know, anything that's kind of totalitarian, that's fascism. You know, not communism, which is way more totalitarian.
Yeah.
No, fascism. Oh, you're a fascist. You know, you really believe you're fascist. And it's like an insult. It's become an insult because of this is getting a bit controversial now, but because Germany had to be demonized.
Yeah.
Before World War II, because of what was going on. Hitler took the German economy out of the central banking system. Who runs the central banking system? We all know that. You know, men with small hats. And of course, they declared war on Hitler in 1933. There's a famous Daily Express newspaper headline from 1933. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yes.
Judea declares war on Germany.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
And that's what they did. They tried to undermine the German economy in every way possible to get rid of Hitler, and Hitler was thoroughly demonized. I'm not going any further with that, but that's just the background.
And you cover some of that in your book as well.
I do, but I cover it mainly in Behind the Curtain.
Okay.
That's the source for all that, and what followed during World War II.
This is an interactive show, John. So let me just quickly do you some questions from the chat that I grabbed. Let me just have a look here. Can we buy your books on Amazon, John, or would you rather buy them on your website?
Well, it's more profitable for me to buy them on my website, but I only post. You can get signed copies as well from my website, which
there we are.
Amazon, obviously.
Mine's signed.
Yeah, but
worth a fortune.
You definitely. Yeah, you can't get signed copies of Amazon, obviously. So if you want a signed copy, you have to buy them off the website. It is slightly more profitable for me.
Website down here, look. And also it's in the show links as well. In the show notes as well. Another question. Is there a computer program you could use to write a book and keep chapters separate?
Well, there's AI, artificial intelligence, if you want to go down that route.
There we go.
It's not something I do personally, but AI would sort you out. Yeah.
What does John think of the Black Death 1346 to 1352? Can we trust the record?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. The problem with the Black Death, it was so long ago. You know, it's nearly 700 years ago, isn't it? That things get distorted, as you know. Who knows what the real truth is? I don't believe that it was any kind of a. I don't think it was rats that caused it, to be honest. I think that is a fairy tale. They didn't know what caused it, so they just made something up. Basically, things never changed, do they?
You're a terrain theory man, more, aren't you, John?
I'm a terrain theorist. Yes.
Do you want to just go over that a bit? Why you don't believe in germ theory? You're not a germ theory man.
I don't believe in germ theory because, let's take it back to, again, kind of the middle of the 19th century. There was a guy called Louis Pasteur who formulated the germ theory. And he had a very strong rival called Antoine Béchamp, who was a French, as was Louis Pasteur, a Frenchman. And he had a different theory, which was called terrain theory. And terrain theory let me talk about germ theory first. Germ theory says that disease is caused by microorganisms, bacteria and viruses. And terrain theory completely negates the idea of viruses, by the way, as well. Again, I won't go too deeply into it.
No, that's okay.
But these two were very great rivals. And fortunately for the pharmaceutical companies that were just about to begin coming along, germ theory won out. Because with terrain theory, pharmaceutical companies are irrelevant, totally irrelevant. Pharmaceutical companies came about because of the recent discovery of oil, massive reserves of oil.
Yeah.
All pharmaceuticals are oil based. Okay.
You can't patent herbs and things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's very much in the pharmaceutical company's interest to perpetuate germ theory. But what terrain theory is, it says that you don't actually catch it from microbes. You don't actually catch diseases from microbes. All diseases is your body fighting off poisons that are in the air.
Yep.
Hence terrain, the terrain around you.
Yep.
And the way that works is, people say to me, "Oh, that can't be true, John. I went to somebody's house the other day, or a few weeks ago, and they had a stinking cold or flu, and I came out of the house and I got home and I started to feel ill, and then I realized that I caught it from them." Well, no, you didn't. You caught it from the terrain that they were in. So there was some kind of a poison, either in the air, in the water, in the food, or whatever, in that environment. There was some kind of a poison and their body was fighting it. And the way that it fights diseases like that is it produces lots of mucus and phlegm, and that's why you get cold symptoms, that's why you get flu symptoms. And also very well, so you can also get situations where your body is fighting these poisons. It just make you feel generally unwell. And you think, "Oh God, I've got flu. I feel terrible. Oh God, yeah." No, you've just got some kind of an invasion of poison of some kind. It could be airborne. It could be
and again, John,
EMF poison.
I would say there that it's also it could be that your body is having a detox effect from all the stuff that you've put into it, whether you've had too many pints of beer, whether you've had too many fags, whether you've had too many carbs, whether you've had too much sugar. It's eventually the body, if it can't detox on a regular basis, it will suddenly have a massive detox.
Carry on. But I mean, this goes back to what we were saying before about the Spanish flu and EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies in the air. We live in an EMF soup, a massive EMF soup. I have a co-author who lives in the States, Shannon Rowan. We wrote a book together called Welcome to the Masquerade, which was all about the COVID nonsense from beginning to end. And she is what is called electro-hypersensitive. She suffers from EHS, electro-hypersensitivity, which means that she cannot be anywhere where there is a Wi-Fi signal. She cannot be anywhere where there's any a phone signal, even, and even just being in a house with electricity in the air, because you get dirty electricity in every environment, which is kind of just like an emission from the electric wires that are running everywhere. It's called dirty electricity. So she can't be anywhere. So anywhere with anything like that. So she lives in a kind of a cabin in the woods in Northern California, 10 miles from the nearest road and 70 miles from the nearest shop.
Wow. How do you communicate?
What she does is she goes about 2 miles down this dirt track with her laptop, and she picks up a signal from somewhere, but she can only be on for a few minutes. So it's very, very quick. And she feels quite bad afterwards, but it's very. I stayed with her for 5 weeks when we were writing the book, and my goodness, what an existence! I couldn't live like that. Oh God,
that's terrible, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, you got no electric, no gas. They've got running water, but that's all. It's a hard life.
You stayed there for 5 weeks.
5 weeks, yeah. Yeah.
If I had any hair, John, I would have pulled it out.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was fun at first. Actually, it was like thinking, oh God, this was like 200 years ago, But the novelty very, very quickly wears off.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Let's another question for you. Let's have a look. Here's a question. You don't have to answer this. Hope it's not a rude question, John, but how old are you?
I don't mind. I'm not ashamed of how old I am. I'm 74.
There we go. Okay. And you look good for it, John.
Thank you.
How long does it take to research and write a book?
That's a kind of a how long is a piece of string question.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
It depends on the size of the book, what it's about.
I mean, that took you 4 years, didn't it?
Yeah, 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years.
But again, I mean, I could have written that now in probably 6 months because I know how to do it
because of what you know now.
Yeah. So if you just, the person asks the question, if you're just starting out writing a book,
yeah,
and you don't know what you're doing, it's going to take you an awful lot longer than when you actually get into the swing of it.
Would you encourage anyone that's got a wealth of knowledge to write a book, John?
Absolutely, because it's a great thing to do. It's a humanitarian thing to do to increase the knowledge pool. Especially in the truth movement. The more people that write stuff, the more it's going to get read, and the more the word that will be spread around. None of us know everything. There's so much to know. And if somebody's got a specialist area of interest that they want to write about, then it's a great addition to that knowledge pool, without a doubt.
Yeah, and again, here's a little clip, John, that I saw that again I thought suited the show today, and it's fascinating. And why we need books. Watch this.
Okay.
ChatGPT, data centers, ChatGPT psychosis, and specifically the destruction of books and knowledge all the way back in 1975. Watch what happens when this guy goes to get some books.
Can I help you, please?
Yeah, I tried to order some books, and they sent me this notice, said I had to appear at the center personally.
There must be some mistake. The books you've ordered are classified and have been transcribed and summarized.
Well, who summarized it?
I suppose the computer summarized them.
Yeah, a future where you don't have access to books, but instead just access to summarizations based on vague censorship from a central authority that you have no democratic input in. But where are the actual books?
And the books are really in computer banks being summarized. Where is that?
Well, there's a computer bank in Washington. The biggest is in Geneva. I guess that's where all the books are now.
This is Rollerball, and it has a strange critical reception. It came out about 15 to 20 years before Paul Verhoeven started making movies and people started understanding how to watch stuff like RoboCop and Total Recall and Starship Troopers as over-the-top deep satires on America. So I think critics and audiences didn't really know how to deal with it. But if you just imagine this movie came with the tagline directed by Paul Verhoeven, it's one of the best and most grimly predictive movies ever made. But it's also a great example of how movies can become better and more relevant over time, because it wasn't until the last couple years that this movie would have been this predictive. Because later, when the main character played by James Caan goes to Geneva to try and get that knowledge, he meets the guy that runs the central AI data center that dispenses that knowledge, and the guy first says that they've lost the 13th century, like all of it.
This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to misplace things.
Oh, misplacing data?
The whole of the 13th century.
Which, like, as someone who's worked with Salesforce or any data platform, my God, I got PTSD watching that. Of course, the data is not just going to be summarized and blocked. We're also going to have massive unretrievable data losses. And so where are the books?
What about the books?
Books, oh no, they're all changed, all transcribed, all information's here.
Now let's see what happens when the scientist, played by the brilliant Ralph Richardson in the funniest scene in the movie, goes to get the answer. Watch how he talks to the computer like someone completely in the throes of AI psychosis.
I'd like some information about corporate decisions, how they're made and who makes them.
Theodore, you heard the question. Answer him.
Negative.
You don't have to give him a full political briefing. Answer.
Negative.
Answer.
Corporate decisions are made by corporate executives. Corporate executives make corporate
I know we have the answers. We do have
knowledge converts
the
to
waters
power.
of history.
Corporate decisions are made by corporate executives.
The model has been trained to not give those answers, apparently. And like, you read about books that have survived wars and transport and societal collapse, books that have been lovingly cared for by generations of librarians and historians and archivists, only for these AI companies to destroy them while digitizing them and feeding them into their models. Then you read about people no longer reading books but getting summaries of them and thinking that's the same thing. Well, I just have to give credit to a movie that imagines we only have like 7 corporations in the future called stuff like energy and groceries and luxury that rule our entire society undemocratically and keep us placid by just giving us increasingly violent blood sport. But hey, at least we don't have a sport that is just guys running at each other full speed to give each other concussions. Oh my God.
And I saw that and I thought, that's what. And when this question came up, I thought, this is the time to play this clip. That's why we need books, isn't it?
I saw Rollerball when it first came out.
Yeah, I remember Rollerball as well. And
I didn't pick up any of that stuff. It didn't kind of make sense to me, in my 20s, I think it was.
And this then goes back to, John, the fact that they're planning all this stuff donkeys years ahead, 20, 30, 40 years ahead.
Yeah. This is the problem with AI, isn't it? AI will facilitate this kind of thing.
Yeah, it will.
It won't be long before every single book is written by AI.
Yeah. Well, we're getting music written. I mean, we're getting music written by AI now. We're getting films done by AI. It's all going that way, isn't it? And
yeah, I mean, it's so good in that sense. I don't mean good. I mean, it's so precise, clever that you can, when it creates a film, you can't actually tell that it's not a real person.
Yeah. Do you, John? How much longer have we got you for? It's already 9.
Half an hour or so, if that's okay.
Would you like to go and have a cup of tea, and I'll play a bit of music? Do you want to go and grab a cup of tea?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll just play a quick piece of music. And can you give me any more questions you want to ask John before he leaves us? So just going to play a quick tune, and then we'll be right back. All right, John?
Okay.
About 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Jigsaw and Sky High. Do you remember that one, John?
I do, yeah. I remember it. Can't say I ever liked it, but yeah, I did remember it. I was more of a rocker at that time.
Don't worry. No one likes the music I choose on this show. And you've got to be... normally, you have to then edit out the music because you know what YouTube's like. They're terrible. They just don't let you play anything. I stream this on Rumble as well. And next week, I always do a monthly music show as well. again, because we're just, we like to do different things. Normally, I do a quiz at the end of the show as well, John, but there won't be one today, okay? I'm having a night off. Pete's having a night off. And we got John here. So, by the way, John, some people have been very complimentary about your age. So I did put the comments up. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And we've got another question for you. Let's have a look. Where is it? Question: has John ever researched Joshua Lederberg and William Hayes?
No. What's that about?
I don't know. That was from Ulick. I don't know. I don't know much about that one at all. I've never heard of them. Again, if you've got a question, can you just put a question at the bottom so I can try and grab it? Oh, here's one. Would John suggest any particular solutions to the usual problems?
It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah, I get asked this a lot, and unfortunately, I don't have a magic wand. And but what I do say at the end of most of my stand-up talks and podcasts is the main thing is don't let them get to you. Don't let the fear get to you, because it's just fear. The only way that a few thousand people can control several billion of us, allegedly, is through fear and deception. And that's what they do, and they do it in spades. These people are very clever. They are they're masters of the human psyche, or they have people who work for them that are masters of the human psyche, and they know exactly which buttons to push and which levers to pull. And one of those major ones is fear. So I always say to people, because people come to me and say, oh, John, how do you live like this all the time? I've only been awake for 2 years, and it scares me to death, and I just feel so down and depressed all the time. I say, well, yeah, I empathize with that totally, because that's exactly how I felt at first. But over time, you learn that you've got to kind of compartmentalize this stuff. You can't let it dominate your life. You just, the way I handle it is that I put it in a little corner of my brain, and I only bring it out when I need to, like when I'm doing podcasts, when I'm doing talks, when I'm writing, when I'm researching. So fear is the big thing. There is no quick, easy, overnight solution, but I think that eventually we will win through, just by the very simple fact that good will defeat evil, and these people are evil. There's no question about it. And it might not be in my lifetime, or even any of you guys out there's lifetimes. I don't know, but eventually this state of affairs will not continue. And I'll tell you something as well. These people are far more scared of us than we are of them. Yeah, and this is why they do it. This is why they do it, because they're terrified of us cottoning on to what's going on and what they're doing, and B, as actually coming together as some coherent force. I don't mean to physically fight them, but I mean to fight them, intellectually and mentally, and defeat them by sheer weight of numbers. So no, we're not doing that. Because if we all sang from the same hymn sheet, and I believe we will one day, what they're going to do? They're not going to kill us all, and they're not going to jail us all. So yeah. Sorry if that wasn't, a very useful answer, but that's the only one I've got.
No. Another question here. What does John think about Peter Sutherland and the movement of mass migration in Europe?
I don't know who Peter Sutherland is, but I know what the mass migration of people to Europe is, and that is something called the Coudenhove-Kalergi plan. Which was devised in the 1930s, and which has been faithfully carried out by governments of all stripes, all persuasions throughout Europe and further afield, mainly the white countries. People of white skin. Just flood them with immigrants.
Do you think that it is the people in little hats that are behind it?
Yeah,
or certainly that European arm of it, because it would appear that it's
It's Zionists.
Khazarisms, isn't it? It's the Khazari.
Yeah, it's the Zionists that are behind it, not the the Jewish family who live around the corner and go to the synagogue every Saturday, and no, I mean that's unfair to blame them.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
it's Zionism, not Judaism, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. It's instigated with them, but they control most things. They control most governments now in the Western world. They control the Zionists I'm talking about. They control organizations like the United Nations, the WEF. That's where we get it bombarded from every direction, and they're propagating this agenda. Why are they doing it? Because they believe, it doesn't matter whether we believe it or not, that is totally irrelevant, but the people who are perpetrating this stuff, believe that the white race is their biggest threat.
Yeah.
So they're diluting it. Yeah. I came across some interesting stats a few months ago. It says something like, it was going about the replacement rate, and it was saying the replacement rate of a population is going to be 2.01 to maintain that population level, which makes sense because I don't know, it's not 2.0, but it said it was 2.01.
It goes back to the 2.1 family, doesn't it?
Yeah. So mother and father produce 2 children that have been replaced. So it said that is the replacement level. The current replacement of the white population, replacement rate of the white population in England is 1.4.
Yeah.
And the non-white replacement rate is 4.8. And the result of that is that by the year 2050, I think it said it was, 2050, the white population of Britain, United Kingdom, will be 8%.
8%?
8.
Wow.
8%. If that trend continues, it may not. It may get worse. Who knows? But that was the statistic that I read. Yeah.
Wow. Do you and in terms of this whole 2030 agenda, do you think they're trying to speed it up because they didn't get the result they wanted from COVID?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I think they're also pulling back on 2030 now as well.
Right.
I just need a drink.
And trying to maybe push it further back again, even because they know that it's not working.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And they know that. I think they learned from COVID that they can't accelerate the agenda too quickly.
Yeah,
because it has the effect of waking people up. Because people start asking questions.
Yeah,
they're better sticking to the. Here's me giving them a bit of advice now. They better stick into the old tried and trusted baby step routine. Which have been going on for decades, if not centuries.
Like a bit of kettling, John.
Yeah.
Like the police used to do in the 80s, kettling and stuff.
Yeah.
Here's another question for you, John. When are you writing from Sherry Swiss? When are you writing your autobiography, John?
Oh, well, that's something I never even considered, to be honest, but it might happen one day.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever, from Jen, have you ever, any of your talks been cancelled or the venues cancelled you because of who you are?
Yes.
It has?
The most recent one was last summer. I was due to be speaking at a place called the 7 Stars Hotel in Totnes in Devon. And I got down there. It's a long, long way from where I live to Devon.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like I got down there and we were staying with some people who kindly offered to put us up. In fact, it was not the organizer of the tour, but someone who was connected to the group. And the day before I was due to speak there, the thing was cancelled. Because there's a really stringent ultra left-wing group in a place called Stroud in Gloucestershire, who absolutely detest me for some reason or another, and they call me all those different epithets under the sun, racist, anti-Semitic, the drill. They found out about it. I don't know how, but they found out about it and put pressure on the 7 stars hotel to cancel me. That was the most recent one, but I've had a couple of others as well. About going back a long time, about 10 years ago, maybe a bit less, I was due to speak at an organization called Truth Juice Hull, which doesn't exist anymore. The Hull branch doesn't. And again, I was due to speak there. The lady organizer phoned me up the day before and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, John, we're going to have to cancel." I said, "Why is that?" And she said, "Oh, well, we just found out you're a Holocaust denier." I said, "Oh, right." I said, "Okay. So did you say that you're a truth group at all, or am I mistaken?" "Oh, yes, but we just think that's a bit too much." I said, "Oh, right. So you're not interested." I wasn't even going to talk about that. I said, "So you wouldn't be interested in learning about why I'm a Holocaust denier, would you?" "No." I said, "All right. Thank you very much then."
Yeah. The thing is, John, isn't it? That some of these groups that you know, they're, you know, who runs them, and again, is it a form of control? Oh, we're going to pull out all the people that don't think how the majority thinks, so we'll just put them all in a little corner there and tinker them around with some truths that are mostly out there anyway. You do have to question that, don't you?
Definitely. I mean, I get not all the time, but you know, reasonably frequently, I get called a shill because I don't agree with one particular aspect of their beliefs about what's going on. You know.
Yeah.
And you just think, well, you know, I know lots of people who don't agree with it. You know, I've got a good friend who's in the truth movement, and he doesn't believe that everything I believe, but we don't fall out about it.
No.
We have a laugh about it, you know, and you know, pull each other's leg about it. And you know, it's just crazy to actually write people off because they don't agree with you. I mean, it's just madness, especially within the truth movement, you know.
Yeah, I've got a saying, John, you know, just keep your mind open because your brain won't fall out.
Yeah, true.
You know, next question: has John received any veiled threats from organizations he writes about? That's from Rich T.
No, I haven't, and I believe that the reason for that is A, I'm probably not important enough or well known enough.
His name's not David Icke.
No, exactly. And B, I forgot what I was going to say now, my brain. This is the problem with being 74. You mean?
That's okay, mate. Next question from Jimmy. Ask John about the fact that social media controls the masses, about it being military. How is it possible to control the majority?
How is it possible to control the majority? What does he mean through social media?
Don't know, mate. Look, there you go. Ask John about the fact that social media controls the masses, about it being a military, I suppose, operation. How is it possible to control the majority? So. Yeah,
I mean, that's just one element of it, I think. You know, obviously, yeah, they do control the masses because of, and they control them through censorship. So, you know, as you were talking about before about YouTube and the fact that, you know, you've got to be careful what you say. That's just a way of controlling us. You know, we're not allowed to say certain things because other people might, free speech. Other people might suddenly think, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought of that. Yeah. So that's what censorship is all about. And the internet, of course, is generally being, not just social media, but the internet generally is being censored. You know, it's not easy now to do research on the internet. You know, it was a lot easier 20 years ago in the mid 2000s than it is now because there's so much censorship of information.
Yeah. You know. Do you still visit libraries a lot, John? What do you do?
No, not so much now. But that's what I did in the very beginning. Before I mean, one time, my first internet was one of those old dial-up things, you know, where you couldn't use the telephone when you were on the internet, and it was like, and it used to go ka-chunk, load a page of information. It used to go ka-chung, 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 and it stopped for about 20 seconds, and it go ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. Right. Okay. Then you know, that's 5 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back, you know. So yeah, I used to go to libraries then and look at, because that's a very useful source of real information, is older books, because obviously years and years ago they'd not refined the agenda to the same extent that they have today. So it was a lot easier to find truth. In fact, I've got a book that's over 100 and, well, it's about 140 years old, and it tells the truth about the gunpowder plot,
Right.
which is very, very interesting.
Is that you cover some of that in falsification
yeah, I do.
of history?
It's in falsification of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to tell anybody what
But
it is.
yeah, so buy it. Go to John's website, falsificationofhistory.co.uk. And another question, John, from Spanish Chicken: what does John do to relax?
Oh, I like football. I don't play it anymore. I used to play semi-pro football up till the age of about 40. I used to play for a team called Curzon Ashton, who were in it's the equivalent of about the 7th division now, or the 6th division. So yeah, I used to play football. I still watch football. I support a football team called Huddersfield Town Nil. Well, most people think they call Huddersfield Town Nil. And I collect stamps. Oh. I collect British stamps for Victorian and Edwardian and George V stamps.
Do you enjoy football standing back and going, I know that this is all a bit. This is part of keeping us occupied.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to be aware of that, haven't you? Yeah, but I mean, it's just been in my blood since.
I'll tell you, John. All right, I used to go to QPR, quarter pound of rubbish. Okay. Back in the 70s, you know, when you know, people could tackle and break your legs, you know, proper man stuff, you know.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And when I watched the World Cup this year, I thought it's all controlled now. It is
absolutely. Yeah.
It's all controlled. I mean, when you saw some of those videos that came out that said that Spain was going to, this is before the final and way before it, that Spain were going to win. Number 7 was going to score the winning goal and things like, and you're thinking, what the hell is going on? You know, what's that all about? It's just crazy, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm just a conspiracy theorist, Robert, but I actually believe that, it's absolutely fixed. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
And I also believe that the England-Argentina result was fixed as well. And I actually think that Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, was in on it. I really do. I've seen lots of information about that because I looked into it afterwards. I thought, this is not right. I mean, the way they played in that match just didn't ring true to me. All his substitutions. Sorry for boring anybody out there who doesn't like football.
No, but again, it's all part of the whole what's going on in the world, the agendas that are going on.
If there is anybody interested in football and how it is fixed constantly, there is a fantastic website called Football is Fixed, and I would recommend it to anybody.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Any last questions from people before John is going to be leaving us? Can you quickly put it in? Because again, I'm just trying to. Dolly Parton has passed away. I know that's going to sadden your heart, John.
Oh, I'm gutted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it was. I don't wish on anyone really, but I hope it was as a result of the vaccine.
Well, she did promote it.
Just a bit, yeah.
A hell of a lot.
Vehemently, yeah.
Yeah, she did, and and let me see if there was any more questions that I missed. Let me just quickly going over it. Again, don't forget, people, go to John's website if you want a decent copy of his book. It's better to buy it from his website. Do you sign all your books that go out, John?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If I've missed a question, can you just re-ask it again quickly? Question here. John's thoughts on David Irvine, please.
David Irvine, the historian.
Irvine,
yeah. I think he did a lot of great work, and I feel sad what happened to him. But that's going back to the World War II stuff again, isn't it?
Yes.
He wrote some brilliant books. Particularly recommend Hitler's War and Churchill's War, both absolute masterpieces of historical research. Unfortunately, I didn't agree with him on certain things. he didn't deny the Holocaust at all, even though he was jailed for it. He only questioned the number. He questioned the 6 million number. That, you know, so yeah, I didn't agree with that at all. I mean, the whole thing was fabricated completely. But anyway, that's not the forum for that. Sorry.
No.
So yeah, it was a great guy. Really, really loved his books.
Oh, so going back to this question, he says John asked John about the fact that social media controls the masses and being how is it possible to control the majority? And then he says here, Rob, I meant military operation. I still don't.
I see. Okay, yeah. Social media, definitely
as a military operation.
Yeah, kind of. I think they're definitely policed by military, specifically the 77th Brigade of the British Army.
Well, they were so instigated in COVID, wasn't they? The narrative of COVID.
Yeah.
The 77th Brigade. I think they're near me, John. I live in Bedfordshire. Have you heard of Chicksands?
No.
Yeah, I think they work out of Chicksands.
Well, where I live in Scarborough, we've got a GCHQ on our doorstep.
Have you?
Yeah, it's kind of a sub branch of the Cheltenham operation.
Right. Question: Who did shoot JR? Any more? Let me have a look. No, I just before you go, John, I just again, let's just quickly come back to health, right? And I read that bit about you going into, because you had a health issue and you got over it yourself. I mean, if you want to talk about that, you can, or you can just quickly just talk about when you took your dad to the doctor.
When I took my dad to the doctor.
Yeah, what happened there?
Yeah, what happened was my dad he must have been in his late 80s by this time. I'm going back to kind of very early 2000s. He's passed away now, long ago, 10 years ago. But yeah, it would have been in his 80s, late 80s perhaps. And yeah, he'd not been feeling great. So I said, yeah, we should go to the doctor's, Dad. And he said, yeah, he said, you know, I said, I'm a bit worried, lad. He called me lad. I'm a bit worried, lad. He said, I'm taking all this medicine. I said, what medicine are you taking? And he brought out this plastic tray with all these different doses in for each day.
Sounds like my mother, John. She's 91.
Yeah. And I counted them up, and he was taking 23 different medications every day.
My mum's probably taking something like
each one to counter the effects of the other one, and so it goes on and on and on. Yeah. So I made an appointment, took him to the doctors, and this arrogant young 30-something GP.
It's a great story.
Yeah. Sat there in his like £500 suit or whatever, you know, £1,000 suit, and his beautiful shoes and all the rest of it. And he just said, yeah, how can I help you? You know, no friendliness, nothing, you know. And I just explained what I've just said, you know, and I just said, oh, yeah, I'd like you to do. Oh, you've come for a medication appraisal or something, like some words like that he used. I can't remember the exact words that he used. I said, yeah. He said, right, well, I'll look into it, and you'll come back next week. And that was it. Kind of waved us off, you know. So right, off we went. We came back again the following week, and he said, come in. I knocked on the door. Come in. So we went in. He didn't say sit down or anything, so we just stood there by the desk, you know, the other side of his desk, and he's there on his laptop.
Getting his Google answers.
Well, I think he'd already done that. I think he was just doing something else. He's never said a word. Then eventually he said, yes. I said, yeah, we've come about the medication check. Oh, yeah, I remember. He said, what's the name again? So I told him, you know. I said, anyway. Yeah, that's fine. I said, sorry? He said, yeah, that's fine. I said, what's fine? He said, it's all okay. I said, what do you mean it's all okay? He said, how can, no, that's what I said. Sorry. Yeah, it's a long time ago. I said, how could you tell so quickly that it's all okay? He says, well, it's all done by computer now. I said, done by computer? I said, how can a computer know that 23 different medications can all work together safely. And he said, oh, like I said, it's computer. It's a computer. You know, they're very clever, you know, computers.
Yeah, he didn't know that your background was computers.
Well, he didn't, no. And I wanted to say to him, but I didn't want to incur his wrath and him strike my dad off the, you know, because my dad had been going to that practice for nearly all his life. And I didn't want to incur his wrath, so I didn't say it, but I felt like saying, have you heard of anything that goes by the name of garbage in and garbage out? GIGO, it's called in computer terms, which means that if you put rubbish in, then you're going to get rubbish out.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, but then he just kind of dismissed us. That was that. End of story. So yeah, that's the medical profession for you, I'm afraid. And it always has been and always will be.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. John, listen, you've been great. You've given us an hour and a half of your time. I really appreciate it, and it's been great to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been nice talking to you, Robert. Yeah, thank you.
I hope it was. I mean, it feels like it's just flown by, to be honest with you.
It does.
But
again,
I wanted just to get a bit more about you as a person, rather than just you talking about your books and stuff like that. But please go and honestly go and get yourself one of John's books. They're great. He's a renowned author. Where are you appearing next, John?
Next in Northamptonshire.
Oh, you're not a million miles from me, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually speaking in. No, actually, I tell a lie. My very next one is I'm doing Stand in the Light. You know the Light newspaper.
Oh yes, yeah. I forget the guy's name.
Darren.
Darren, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a stand-up talk at it's Stand in the Light. It's like a. Right, let me just say, if anybody wants to be on my emailing list to find out about, you know, listen to any of my podcasts that I do, to, you know, get news about venues where I'm speaking, that kind of thing, just email me. No, email me at JCH120752. That's my birthday, by the way. Giveaway.
You just broke up there, John. I think it's on your website anyway, I think. Isn't it?
Is it? Okay. Well, yeah, that's fine. All right.
I think it's on your website.
So just email me to go on my emailing list, and then you will receive news of podcasts, stand-up talks, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I don't bombard people. Very, very, you know, it's very few and far between the messages, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I'm speaking in St Helens in Lancashire, or Merseyside, I think it is now, isn't it?
Yeah. And your talks are always different, aren't they? You do different subjects.
I do, yeah. I've got about 20 different ones that I do, and every now and again I add a new one.
Because the one you did for us at Bedford was about nuclear bombs being a hoax.
Yeah.
That was very good talk. Very good talk.
Thank you.
Well researched.
In fact, I'm doing the same one at St Helens. That's on the 12th of September, Saturday the 12th of September. So anybody who lives kind of near there, you're very welcome to come along.
And what are you doing at Northampton? Which talk are you doing at Northampton? Can you remember?
Northampton, I'm doing World War I and World War II, which is more or less what we shouldn't be talking about on YouTube.
Right. Okay.
And then I'm doing Antarctica the following night, just outside Northampton. I can't remember the name of the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, the two. But the details are on my website. So.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Hamer. Thank you very much. We will be back for an after chat. John, we have an after chat. You go. You don't have to stay. Don't worry about that. But I'm gonna go on.
I'll just say thank you very much for having me on the show, Robert, and I've enjoyed it. It's been great to talk to you. And if you want me to come back at any time to talk about something more specific other than myself, you know,
great.
Yeah, just
people
let me know.
Have really enjoyed it. I've been seeing the comments. People have really enjoyed having you on. So
that's really
they haven't been throwing cabbages. They just don't like my music choice, John. But that's okay. That's okay. Right. It's nothing new for me. Right. So I'm going to put the after chat link into the chat, and come and join us. John's going to say au revoir. He's going to go, and but I'll talk to you horrible lot in the after chat. And I'll leave you with a bit of Steve to Goose, and because she's lost in space. Ta-da then, and I'll see you all. Music show on Rumble exclusive next Tuesday. All right. and it's a rock night. John, you should join us. Rock tune. Give me a rock tune, June. John, what's your favourite rock tune?
Stairway to Heaven.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll play that for you next week, John.
Thank you.
I'll play it for you.
You have to remind me. If you remind me, I'll definitely come on. If I'm not doing anything, but I will. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay. You take
All
care.
right, mate.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Lost in space, floating away from a world that turned so strange. Drifting too far, she turned around to see the earth looks like the stars. Diamonds shine, a million lights in the dark. They all look the same, out of control. Which way to go? She's lost and heading for the sun. She can hear you, she just can't reply. She can see you through her empty eyes. Crazy is the world where she came from. Hazy
I'm in love with him and I intend to marry him.
A drummer? Not even a real musician. He just makes a noise.
You don't know what you're talking about.
If he played the violin or the piano, anything that made sense, but the drums...